The greatest lie on the continent of Africa is to continue allowing the Western military bases take charge of our security forces, while each of the 54 member countries within the continent continues to nurse demarcated military formation like that of Boy Scouts, instead of pulling together the 54 member countries' army to form a unilateral security team for the continent that can collectively shield the smallest state in Africa from external forces. Such is the video in which we're about to watch today, in which the military head of state of Burkina Faso, in person of Captain Ibrahim Traore, is seen sending delegation by the Chief of General Staff of the Burkina Faso Army Forces to Rwanda. And the Burkina Faso's delegation was received by the Rwandan Minister of Defense and Chief of Staff of the Rwandan Defense. The meeting was aimed at discussing ways to strengthen the army cooperation within the two countries. And you might ask, why choosing Rwanda at this time? Captain Ibrahim Traore is a diligent person, and he has seen that Rwandan troops as a track record of professionalism. For you to understand this better, you have to see the level of success they achieved in combating the insurgents in the southern African country, Mozambique. Yes, in July 2021, the president of Mozambique, in the person of Philip Yuse, reached out to Rwanda. And in response, Rwanda deployed 1,000 strong forces to Mozambique to help it combat the worsening violence in the gas-rich northern Cabo Delgado province. Local jihadists were seen ravaging this town, houses about 20/30 billion gas projects run by the French giant Total Energies. Yes, and this region in Mozambique is of major strategic importance. ExxonMobil was also building its own gas field nearby, and most of these gas were being transported to Britain and France. The jihadists or insurgents group continued to attack these towns in Mozambique for about 4 years or thereabouts, and they carried attacks on civilians, infrastructures, and caused about 800 people to be displaced from their homes, and majority of these were children, and about 300,000 were killed. But kudos to the Rwandan army, because they were able to achieve peace and stability in that most war-ravaged town. Given the global and regional concerns about terrorism, seeking military support from African countries may be a way for Burkina Faso to maintain control over its internal affairs and avoid potential external forces associated with support from Western nations. And that's why we can see the military head of state of Burkina Faso, in person of Captain Ibrahim Traore, and Rwanda trying to cooperate together in developing strategies and sharing intelligence. So we can see that both countries could conduct joint military exercises to enhance their military forces' effectiveness in responding to various security challenges. Also, establishing training programs where military personnel from Burkina Faso and Rwanda can train together, acquire skills and development and knowledge sharing, which will enhance cooperation in intelligence sharing, which can be of utmost benefit in addressing both countries' common security threats. As you know, that nowadays there's this common saying that is becoming generally accepted, and which is very real, that African problems requires African solutions. So Burkina Faso might just be aligned with this principle and advocating for African nations to take a leading role in resolving security challenges in the African continent. Yes.
Okay. Okay, everyone. Good day, everyone. You are all welcome to tonight's live stream. This is Dial Settle, the most handsome, yakable Africanicious, ardently pumping a physical husband. And as usual, I will have my most beautiful, intelligent, sugar licking baby girl here.
You're most welcome to the live stream today. Yes.
Okay. So just like the intro we have there, just like the intro we have there, what we are looking at today is filled with lots and lots of questions. But before we do that, I think we have one of our very own Chukudi. Chukudi is right here.
Good.
Hello, Chukudi.
Hello! How is
Whoa,
everybody doing?
we are doing just great. How are you?
Oh, I am still very excited about your newest child, and seeing all your latest videos have coming out have been so nice and on point and
Whoa.
concise, very well documented. I just am learning right now about, I have no clue other than what you guys can tell me, how to verify what I want to know is the truth. I need your help on this.
Okay. We are sure you'll be able to get the help that is needed on this, and we'll also have a lot of questions for you too tonight. So you are welcome on board. Okay, so with that, we are starting up with this discussion in which we are asking ourselves, elections or security, which comes first, especially in the African setup. But before we delve into that, we quickly need to understand the fact that the world we live in now, we do not believe everything that we see, either because of experience of disappointment from certain quarters that has created doubt along every line. But we have an experience here, the younger captain that is in charge of his country. What's the name of his country again? Burkina Faso. The young chap in charge of Burkina Faso has been pulling a lot of weight, both internally. When I mean internally, I'm talking of within Africa and outside Africa. And he came up with a statement that he came up with some statement that is making everyone look like, wow, what is this guy up to? He was just showing with his body language, with his meetings, he was showing that there is the need for Africa to be well secured. There is the need for Africa to ensure his own security is in his hand. There is a need for Africa to ensure that they are actually the one in charge of the safety of their people before they start dancing around the election that has been enshrouded with this so-called theory of democracy, which we have a lot of issues with, because the democracy we are practicing in Africa seems to be over bloated. It's not our size. It has not been cut down to our size. The democracy has been that which has not been fulfilling so much. So let's give you this question, Chukudi. This question is for you. Over there, between election and your security, which is the most paramount over there in the US? You are muted. You are muted.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
When you say security and then you say elections, are you combining the fact that our elections are insecure, or is that what you're saying?
We are talking about your general security, in place, the safety of your people,
Yes.
These are
not having insurgents, not having infiltration from other forces.
Yes. Okay. Since we are the largest military industrialized country in the world, yes, we are safe. That doesn't mean we're safe to walk the streets, though. That doesn't mean our ability to be safe is safe itself. We have a major class division here in the United States where the rich continue to get rich and the poor continue to get poor. This is leading to insecurity. So on that level, we are not safe at all. We have basically a boiling pot of energy that is about to overcome the pot. It's about to overflow. And there's a lot of disruption due to the fact that the cost of living is creating people to get a little bit crazy. So no, I will not say we have security. I say, yes, we have the security that other countries in the world don't have. Yes, that's true. But we are also very vulnerable right now, especially with the elections coming up right now. We have two candidates that are, one is trying to get to jail the other, which is a sign of a banana republic. Meaning, if you're actually saying, are we secure? I don't even think we are, in the sense that we don't even know what's going on in our own elections anymore. We have the leading candidate being prosecuted by the president of the current. And it just seems like we're not getting anywhere fast. So I will say yes and no to that question.
Okay, you know, one good thing about tonight's discussion is that we can learn from America very, very well, because you guys are part of those that have been shipping and marketing democracy to us. And it's interesting to note that even in a country where this democracy has been their major product that they are selling to African continents and
Well,
African.
democracy is the big lie. It is the big lie.
Is a big lie. Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. Okay.
Yeah,
Because,
democracy is being sold to the world as our right to go to put a military base on your land. Democracy is the reason why you can have a small little country surrounded by Muslims, and yet we will pump billions of dollars in it while our country has many issues that are needing to be dealt with. Not saying that we shouldn't be out there, but I don't think we should be putting military bases in the name of democracy.
oh, so you are not in support of the military bases in Africa. That's
That
your
is
own
correct.
opinion about that. Okay,
Well,
because
not
that.
only that, but there's 800 worldwide. I mean, you in Africa are dealing with democracy being gently introduced. They're trying to show you that if we can come in there and give you enough money, we won't have to do a regime change on you. They have like France is doing. Like, has France ever once said, you know what? Yes, our nuclear plants are running on minerals from Africa that we harvest? No,
Okay.
they don't do it.
Okay, I need an honest truth on this next question. This next question is that I know that you've been hearing much about the what's it called, the military head of state of Burkina Faso.
Ibrahim Traore.
What is the general view about him in the US? Is this someone
Overall,
you people love so much that you crave for and you are praying for Africans to fall in love with, to have such persons in charge of the continent, or what? Or is somebody that you guys detest?
can you rephrase the question and make it more simple for me to understand?
Okay, like you know, when they mention whenever they mention the name, whenever they mention the names of presidents in Africa, you know, when they
Yes.
mention the names of numerous presidents in Africa, there are some presidents that are very popular in the US. In short, all the majority of the people in the US, they love them so much. I don't want to start mentioning names. They're like, oh, this guy is a great guy, and they have good relationship with them in Africa. But I'm putting up this particular young man. Let me share my screen. This particular young man in charge of Burkina Faso. Can you see him?
I can, yes.
Okay. Now, this particular young man that is in charge of Burkina
34
Faso
years.
is just 34 years old and is a table shaker. So, in your own view, can you say that America, the West, not just America now, the Western world, can you say that they love this guy so much that they just love what he's doing in Africa?
Interesting. That's the reason why I'm here today. Um, that's interesting because I don't know where the man stands on his roots. I don't really understand. I am inexperienced with this man.
Oh,
I
okay.
I can I cannot give you an honest answer on that.
Okay. Okay. Now let me do a little bit of introduction about
And
it.
real
Then you.
and real quickly before you do that, we don't get this information here. I look it up and down. We do not get any, very little information comes out of Africa that makes the news here. It is so small. I can't even tell you, folks. The last time somebody made the announcement was when the president of a certain country in Africa said, beware to get off the dollar. I forgot who the guy was, but that was the last time any African president or country leader made the news here.
That
This
was
guy
the
is not
Kenyan
made.
president, William Ruto.
Yes.
That was the Kenyan president, William Ruto.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So very little news gets here. That's why I'm here.
Okay, okay. Now let me give a little bit of info about the young man. He took over power in Burkina Faso, and ever since he took over power in Burkina Faso, he has been shaking a whole lot of tables. He has been, as a military guy that took over power. He has changed the system, the relationship with the Western world. The way Africans used to depend on the Western world has been changed, and as such, the country, they are in love with him. But the funniest stuff is that he wasn't elected democratically. He came in
Okay.
as a military guy. They took over
Okay.
power. But he has a mindset of his own about how Africa should be independent from how his country should be independent from the control of the external forces that you and I know of.
Okay. So that's how he's gaining his strength right
And
now.
as we speak, he's a as little as I know, the only person that I've seen him shake hands with plainly is our Olori Bam Putin, the president of Russia, is the only person that I've seen this guy shake hands with. So he's in love, he's in alignment with Putin, with Russia.
Ibrahim Traore came into power in the year 2022 by a coup. And when he came into power, it was just like an interim government. And they felt the next thing they were going to do was to conduct elections. So he came on board and he said, no, it's not about elections now. It's about the security of our nation first.
Okay.
Okay. We know that France was there doing a lot of things to them, and he had to make sure that they were out of the country. Kia. So he sent them away. Then he started having affiliations. I think he's having affiliations even with Iran now. Also, I don't want to. He's having different affiliations. You know what this guy just did? He made sure that these were the people that were punishing us, that were impoverishing us before. I'm going to go to the other people, and I think he's so much in love with President Putin, and since he came into power, he's been watching his steps, crossing his eye, dotting his T's, and he's not been relating with people just anyhow. He doesn't even give an handshake.
Okay.
He's just going to give a gift. So, but the only person that was noted that he had a clear handshake with was President Putin. And since then, he's just been making some reforms. Right now, he went to Rwanda. He wants to combine efforts. He wants a military partnership with the Rwandese forces. And you know what that means? Because of the track record of success that Rwandan troop had in fighting insurgents in Mozambique, he said, okay, yes, I know these people are true. They have a track record of success. Let me combine forces with them. So they, right here in November, some weeks back, let's say between November 18th or so, they had a meeting in Rwanda, and they were received, and they had indoor meetings. They want to do cooperations and all the like. So that is what he's trying to do now. He wants to make sure that there is peace and security in his country.
Right. Right. And he wants to do it through diplomatic means first, correct? Yeah. So this guy has got the target on his back by now associating himself with Putin, correct? In other words, he's going to be looked at by the and I hate to say this, the corrupt part of your countries. They're gonna say, hey, look, we can't do this. America doesn't want us to do this. Is that what's going on?
I didn't get that question. Can you rephrase that question again?
Or since he shook the hand of Putin, has the gentleman received a negative press about his decisions?
There is nobody that can oppose him because he's a military guy and he's
Uh,
behaving well. He's doing the
yes.
right thing for his country. He's not one of the sabotage that we have all around us in the continent of Africa. He has been. This is one of
And you know
the
what's so interesting about this is at the timing of this, we've got the Argentinian president coming in and sweeping the country. And by the way, they did it with a paper ballot vote, and they counted all the votes in one day. Can you believe it? No electronic machines were used in that vote, so they're fair, simple. Now we also have the Amsterdam Van Geert just got elected in Norwegian. I mean, these are the people that said that they have to take away their farm tractors and their can't use nitrogen fertilizer on their land. The I think what the gentleman is doing is an honorable thing. I don't
And
look at it.
do you believe that he went to the university students? He wants the educated minds, and he wants suggestions from such people to help
Right.
him develop the state. So when that's what we're saying about having intelligent minds in power, as in
And
young.
he's not that young. He's not. He's 34 years old. That's to me. That's a grown man.
Ah,
Okay.
that.
that to us, that's a great success here in
Wait.
Africa.
Did,
Do you
did,
know
did,
those
did
that
you
do
say
us?
that's a grown man?
Which grown?
Let me tell you, you guys in the US now, you currently have a sitting Buhari, an American Buhari, as your president. How old is
Yeah.
your president?
Almost 80.
Almost 80.
So
So
when
is times more than times two of the age of this young man, and
Yeah.
this young man has the interest of Africa.
as
Has
in
the
You
the
see,
mass.
interest.
they can't get away with this anymore. The knowledge is out there. Everybody's waking up. Like I said, those two other countries just woke up. And look at Portugal last week. There was hundreds of thousands of people in Portugal complaining. I mean, not only that, but right before the war started with Israel and Gaza Strip, Netanyahu was under attack by his own people, and 500,000 people are in the streets saying he was stripping the Supreme Court of the rights of the people. This is a complete coup d'etat, where the power assumes all the power. And once again, a gentleman like this is standing up saying human rights first. We'll diplomatically understand how we're going to break this relationship up, because he's going to break the relationship. The time has come where the soldier is going to be for the benefit of the people and not for the detriment.
You can say that again. You can say that again.
So
As
you
in,
know from what I've just seen is like over there they deliberately keep good news away from the United States and so many
from the
countries in the
West
West.
generally.
They deliberately keep good news out and
Good news about Africa. You're
good
saying
news
good
about
news.
Africa. They keep it back. But whenever it is something that has to do with hunger, pain, penury,
Poverty,
diseases,
abject.
and all those stuff,
Oh yeah, it's
they
all over the news.
they
Oh, and
tend
here's the philanthropist. Here's Bill Gates. Here they are.
Please don't
So,
stand
so
now.
with that being said, we still come back to our questions. Now, elections or security, which comes first? And
Security. Security does
security
come
comes
first.
first. So,
Yeah.
this young man, we are asking ourselves questions also that, oh, can we really trust this young man? But from everything that this young man has been doing, we are beginning to see that everyone is being wooed every step all the way. Everyone is being wooed to see that this is a young chap that has the interests of his people at heart. And as a result of this, we can only continue to ask more questions about the rest of the world. Because if we are going to be asking, if we have also known that any country of the world, sorry, any person in charge of Africa that the West are in love with, most of the time, such persons are not good for the continent. Most of the time, when you see the West running around anyone in charge of in leadership in Africa, or let me call it rulership in Africa, and the West is their friend, you end up to discover that such persons have no benefits to the continent.
You don't have real love
Yeah,
for the actual people.
because
of the
this young man just took to power, and everything is just changing around his country. His country are recording a better this thing. You need to see the citizens, how they flock around him, how they are so happy about him and the likes. Now we begin to ask ourselves questions. This democracy of a thing that has been shipped to us in Africa,
really shoot.
you just mentioned something over there now, that democracy is not even so-called good for the Americans. And the rest of the world watched what happened in America's a few years back, in which we saw what could be tagged as, manipulations of your elections.
Yes.
Yeah. So to the extent that some Amototiku, they came to vote. I wouldn't say.
I mean, let's just be honest. Is it possible that Barack Obama actually got less votes than Joe Biden? I mean, seriously, can anybody answer that question? You think that we went from Barack Obama?
Yes, I can answer that question.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
America loves Biden so much that even those that were not available came to vote for Biden.
Okay, that would mean then Obama's
Because
still the president.
Let-
But isn't Obama still running the presidency then? I mean,
you don't you need to listen to me very well so that you understand. Your America is such an interesting place because they love Biden so much.
No,
and
they
all-
don't. No, they
they vote-
don't. They don't love Biden here.
But
I don't know.
your election results showed it that
That
you guys,
is that's a falsity. Are you believing that actually he was elected fairly? Are you kidding me? You're kidding me,
No.
right?
why am I kidding you?
You really think that Joe Biden got elected fairly?
You guys voted for Joe Biden.
No, they stole the election. No, they stole it. They stole it.
Let me land. You guys voted for Joe Biden willingly because you were tired of what's his name again?
Trump.
You were tired of Trump because Trump was so much running America with profit. He was running America. America was growing, and you guys were tired of growth like that. You needed something different. You needed something more interesting, something more engaging. Most of the time, Trump is busy fighting the media war, but now Joe Biden is not fighting the media war because he's a great guy.
Yeah.
But he says mean tweets. But he has mean tweets. I mean, they're terrible.
Joe Biden is such a blessing to America that now you guys are just managing some couple of wars across the globe. How can you have a president like what's his name again? This guy that Joe Biden won. How can you have a president like Trump where there was no war at all during his regime? That's complete bullshit.
Yeah,
there was no war at all, and democracy is such a beautiful thing. Is a government of the people, for the people, by the people.
Yes, and guess what? And you know what the military's purpose is for? Defense, not offense.
Now, how can you have a president like? I think I need to do a video on the reason why. What's his name again? The reason why Donald Trump should not be the president of America.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
I need
yeah.
to do something like that again. How can you
yeah,
have a
you're
president in charge of the most powerful country in the world, and is not going to war, is busy increasing
The wealth
the
of
wealth
its
of the
nation.
nation? No, 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 no. You guys need something better than that. You need a Buhari. So is such a mess of state that the world of Africa has been surrounded by naval bases, different bases, and
Yeah.
this does not signify the true meaning of the so-called democracy.
That's
That
why I want Dr. Ojo on here. This is one thing that I want him to answer because he's in the military. He
I can
understands what.
I can answer you on that because I think I
You're
have
also in the
I
military.
have so many knowledge in that now. And please remember, if you have been following our video very much, you know that I am the lawyer in charge of this my clientele. I represent my clientele very well, and that's why I'm defending my clientele. Joe Biden is doing great work in America. Now look at how many of your what's it called? How many of your media have spoken anything wrong about Joe Biden? No, because he's a great guy. He's doing pretty well. So
No,
is
that's turning, by the way. That tide is turning.
what time
What
is
is
turning?
turning?
It is. It's shifting. In fact, just the other day on the news, for the first time, an NBC poll put out that the fact that Joe Biden is losing in the overall poll to Trump. Now, if let's take a step back here, they had a 90% poll rating that Hillary Clinton was going to win the election. She didn't win, right? So, what do these polls actually mean? Are these polls accurate? Well, it sounds like somebody's concerned if they can go onto national television and say, hey, folks, this is the first time in history that Donald Trump has taken the lead. And now they're concerned because if he comes back, guess what he's going to do? Well, I'm not saying he's going to do it because I don't think he's actually a good person. I don't think Donald Trump is a good person. Look at his fruits. Look at the fruits that he is a money man. He's been around power his whole life. He was born with a silver spoon. He doesn't honorably discharge belief to me. I'm not somebody I would back. I wouldn't back Trump. I mean, honestly speaking, I think honestly we should disband the government, all forms of it. Get rid of the Congress, get rid of the Senate, and we should actually go back to old Greek myth, the old Greek way of, you know what? Every 6 months we get a new Congress. Every 6 months we just get that way. Nobody can sit there in the office like these Bidens, these Schumers, and they can sit there forever in the democratically run cities that they have the highest murder rates and more crime than the blue cities. And guess what's happening? They're waking up. People are leaving California. I'll never leave because this is my home. I'm staying here because I'm going to fight for the end result, and that's taking back my state, my country. I'm taking it back. I'm not standing around voting for anybody anymore. If you're voting, guess what? You're contributing to the problem because they're not elections, they're selections. And the corporate governments that are corporates that are ruling us, have blinded us and think that we're dumb. They think we're dumb. We're not taking this any longer. Folks are waking up.
You know what
Jim.
the line you just mentioned now is making me to open my eyes, like I'm trying to remove my glass to be sure I'm hearing this is coming from America, just like the movie. Now, are you saying, you mentioned something about selection, and you
Yeah, they're
guys?
selected. You don't vote for a president here in America. You don't.
Whoa.
Your vote counts nothing.
Percentage. What
Now,
percentage of Americans are aligning to what you're saying
with
to
this thought of
Koji,
yours,
so that
I would say about 25 to 30%. have gotten it.
That's in the minority.
So that's
Yeah,
25
and
to
that,
30.
but that's the benefit of being in the minority, because now we know who the disregarded are. You see, being in the minority doesn't mean you're wrong.
Okay.
You
But
understand that?
you know what? I'm learning from this because apparently that is bringing us to the question of can we trust this young man
That's a
with
good question. That's a
all
good
his
question.
ideas with respect to how he wants his own country to be governed? I think he has just called a point there, meaning that there should be security before elections so that it doesn't, because when the security is not there before elections, what will happen in selections? And that is why a lot of these foreign influences should not be allowed to be totally in charge of the continent of Africa. And if America is experiencing selection, I'm asking the question: if he's experiencing selection, then who is the continent? Who are we in the continent of Africa to still be playing along the same line of what was given to us by people that have not been able to achieve results
with
what they have?
Okay, I can answer that real quickly. In 1871, the Constitution of the United States was changed from "we the people" to "of the people," which meant that the United States switched over to a sovereign state to a corporation. In 1871, that was. Now, in 1913, Woodrow Wilson was the president. He signed over the power to print money to the federal government, the Fed, they call it. These people who have been in charge of all wars on both sides and have completely bought out every single politician on the planet have been ruling us ever since the Fed got into power. And I think you both know this, that the corruption is so deep that you have to question this young man about his integrity. While he's trying his best and he looks good up front, you're still going to be doubting him because they have planted the seed of doubt in everybody, because there is nothing trusted anymore. There is no verifiable way to prove anybody's worthy of running a country anymore.
Okay. But you still need someone to run the country.
Well, you need somebody, but does that somebody have to be one person? Can that somebody be a conglomeration of like-minded people that want to sit down and actually diplomatically work it out? No, that's not how it works. It's called military. You see, we get rule by power, and power is developed through greed. Greed is the main reason why the military is controlling all the power. If you don't have a military, who are you going to have? You're going to have some government walking around telling you what to do and listen to them? No, because the military will come in and enforce the laws of the government. So this gentleman, if he's 34, I think that's a good sign, by the way, because the old guard needs to go. The old guard has to go. We're done. We're done with this. Folks are waking up. It's over. This is happening right in front of our eyes. This is the greatest time to ever be alive.
Okay. Now, when it comes to we are learning a whole lot. We are learning a whole lot today. You want to say something? We are learning a whole lot today, and for this to be coming from someone in America, that you are beginning to think outside the box, that is like there is need for a better system of governance, and America is shipping to our throat democracy, 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 and
Yep.
we in the continent of Africa, we've been trying democracy for donkey years, for decades, and it's coming out that there should be a twig to what we are receiving. The continent of Africa is now beginning to ask themselves the questions: this so-called democracy thing, is it really working for us, or do we need to have our homegrown economics, our homegrown model of control, our homegrown model of ruling, a ruling system that is assigned, that is, that is customized for our environment. And that is where we in Africa, we need to open our eyes to ensure that we are not just taking everything hook, line, and sinker.
Can
And
I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question that's going to be very personal now? This is going to be a hard question to answer.
okay,
Do you think segregation is a form of sovereignty? In other words, if you decided to lock down your country and say, "Hey, look, we're going to be self-sufficient. We're not going to," and people would say segregation is a form of racism, right? Like, like if you're segregating, like here in America, we have all black colleges, right? But we
okay,
don't have all white colleges. Do you understand that?
okay,
Okay, so Italians want to live with Italians. Chinese want to live with Chinese. Africans want to live with Africans. I mean, it's kind of the norm of history that like-minded people of culture live together. I don't think there's anything wrong with a country saying, "Hey, look, we don't want any Western democracy," and I don't think there's anything wrong with them saying, "You guys have to go." So,
okay.
I mean, it's up to you to decide. I mean, not me, up to you, because it's your country. In my country, I look at the things like Jim Crow laws, right, where they had laws against people who were uh, they didn't want black kids to go to white schools, okay, because they would think that segregation was now being. So, in other words, people have rights to segregate themselves, but in America, if you do it, you're chastised. You will be shut down because it's the big melting pot over here. And by the way, there's too many spices in that soup. It doesn't taste good anymore. Okay, it's getting ugly over here, and it's getting ugly quick. And when America gets into the new currency that's going to come out soon, it's going to change people's ideas of how they look at government fundamentally across the board. We have schools here that are promoting uh, sexual things that are not appropriate for children to be hearing. This is what our government is promoting right now. So our government is proving to us as Americans that the 30% that are standing up and saying no to this is over. You're not doing this anymore. As a parent, as somebody who's raised children and pays taxes, you can't tell me that if I want my taxes to go to war, I don't want them to go to war anymore. In fact, if I was president, I would say, hey, you know what? Here's the deal. You get to pick the taxes you want to pay. And guess what would happen? Poverty would end because people would say, hey, you know what? Number one problem in America is poverty. So let's feed people. Okay. Second, I think we have a big issue with the democracy when it comes to open borders. Now, do you have open borders in where you live right now,
When you
Dale?
mean open, when you mean
We
open borders,
our southern border is open, wide open. We're approximately getting 20 to 25,000 people a day crossing. Many of them are now coming from Uganda. Many of them are coming from China. Many of them are coming from Venezuela. Many of them are coming from Nicaragua, Honduras. Many are coming from even recently now Romania. I mean, they're coming from all over the world to get here. Why? Why? Because the rest of the world has been so democratized by democracy that the overall arching money across the world is controlled, that nobody has a right anymore to say what they want. Everybody's under the power of the dollar. And if you're not stepping in line, they'll do the same thing they did to Gaddafi. And this guy right there in Africa, he better have a good, strong military around him at all times. His security must be protected. The gentleman, if he's true and honorable to his heart, he will make a change. And now is the time for a young man to step forward, be the next great something.
okay, that's a good one coming from you towards Traore. That he should watch his back. He should ensure that his military formation is intact, and I believe all those from his country, they will be very, very, very glad to give him the necessary and not to allow the so-called backyard democracy
Well, just make
to
sure you control his chef and his cook. And don't let, yeah, just that's the one thing I'm worried about. They're going to poison the guy if they can't get to him.
mm, okay. In
I
that
mean, do
case,
you guys, are you guys taking faith in him?
in Traore,
Eh, say that again?
in his name is Traore, Traore,
Oh, Traore.
Ibrahim
Okay.
Traore. This
Do you believe in him?
is a model. Is a
Do you,
model that a lot of people are believing in now. Now,
okay.
despite
He's just been on
he's an
stage for a very short time.
yeah. So a lot of
So
people
we're
have not
Okay.
seeing,
known much
yeah.
about him.
Okay. Okay. So
But
you know what populism is, right?
yes,
Populism, right? That's how Donald Trump
yeah.
got elected, right? Through populism, right? So recently, Conor McGregor, an MMA fighter, stood up and decided to resist the fact that an Algerian man came into Ireland and he stabbed some young girl. Now he's being investigated. Now, do you think that Ireland? By the way, did you know Ireland has never had slavery? Did you know that? Ireland, and
That
by the way, the Irish were slaves here in America.
okay.
There was white slaves in America. It's
Okay.
so there wasn't just
Hmm.
white and black. There was white slaves too. The Irish were
Yeah.
considered the scum of America when they came here. And
Okay.
you know why? You know why? Because they have honor. They have integrity. They don't want to see, like, if you had a bunch of white people move into Lagos, Nigeria right now, you I mean millions. Let's say 1 million, 2 million people moved into Lagos, Nigeria right now. Do you think that would, like, I mean, you would probably understand this, that the culture is going to change. People are going to start intermarrying. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big problem right there, because this is where it comes down to is, do you want to keep your country? That means yes, you do. Well, then the outside world's going to look at you as a segregationist. And that they don't want that, because you see, that's not democracy. You can't do that. They don't want anybody to be successful. They don't want you to pull up from your bootstraps and pick yourself up. They don't want that. They want this guy put in his place, and he better, I mean, because I'm learning as we go about this conversation. I know for a fact, though, I've already done my research. I've already done it. They have carved up Africa to give out to the rest of the world. It's over. It's got to stop. This young man potentially could be something that could do that.
Uh,
Definitely, definitely. And oh, someone is here. Royston says security in
Africa
Africa.
first,
Yeah,
yes.
that's lovely. That nice having you here, Royston. Security is most needed thing in Africa. Is the most is the first thing that should come up.
Such
Come up.
that Ibrahim Traore was saying that without security, the elections were just elections. Like, let me just say, I could infer that from its actions, like Jim from the US is saying now, like Chukwudi is saying. So that if there are no security in place, people will just, people's choices will not be really who they will be putting in place to be the president, because they're just going to use the power anyhow. But if there is real security, people's expressions, people's choices will be expressed in the person they'll be choosing as
Do you
their
know
leader.
why? Do you know why I was saying that? Because when you have a continent that is not secured by its own people,
People.
but is relying on
Yes.
the external security of the West, in which
Yeah.
they have surrounded us with their naval bases, with their military camps here and there, that
It's
even
like,
in case there is any war, they don't even need to start flying from America. In 5 minutes,
yeah.
they can instigate something here, they can trigger off something here in Africa. And that is not going to mean that the continent of Africa is free. So,
And
so
Americans are so gullible, they'll believe the fake news that will come out of that country when they start to tell us, "Oh, this guy, he was bad. They'll make up lies on this guy." You know
that was
that.
That was why I was
That's the
asking
first
you. That
question.
was why I was asking you how much love do you have for this guy in America? Because any so-called leader in Africa that is loved, well loved by the West, we have discovered over time that whenever any potential leader is so much backed up by the West, so much loved by the West,
Yeah.
that kind of a person is not going to do good in Africa. That is just to show us that such person is a puppet. And now we are
Eh,
seeing this young man, Ibrahim Traore, not so welcome, not so not so well received in the West, not so much trusted by the West because his reasoning is different. We can now say, wow, we give you another scorecard because for the West not to be really in love with your style, that means you are mostly going to work for your people. That is how that is one of the tests that he has passed because this young man, every of his body language is how to deliver to his people. He's not. I'm
Okay,
sure
well,
somebody that is not.
one of the best things he could do was how many? I mean, what country exactly is this gentleman in?
Just
Burkina
one.
Faso.
It's one.
It,
It's in Burkina Faso.
okay, okay. So, do they have sanctions placed upon them by the United States? By the way, which is a democracy. Yes or no? Do you know? How many sanctions are on that
Definitely, there are a lot
Oh,
of
there it
definitely
is.
there are
There it is. Oh, there's sanctions all over the place, isn't there? Oh, wow. You see, it just
definitely there are both voiceless, silent, and loud
and
sanctions
sanctioned to
against.
death and sanctioned to
Yeah.
death. I mean, you're not allowed to compete in this free world capital market anymore. You see, you know why? Because you don't follow the dollar. You don't listen to what we say. This is the rules. You're not listening to the rules. You're going to get condemned.
Mm. That is serious. Just the same way that Gaddafi was condemned.
Oh yeah.
That
Oh yeah,
the
and they did
painful.
the same thing. They did the same thing to the guy in Iraq. I mean, he wanted to switch over from the petrodollar. He wanted it. He wanted his own currency in his own country. Oh, the Saddam Hussein had nothing to do with 9/11. Oh, there's weapons of mass destruction there. Guess what they found? Nothing. Nothing.
Mm.
We were lied to as Americans about a war that killed 500,000 children. And Madeleine Albright went on news and said, with Leslie Stahl on CBS 60 Minutes, said, I know the war was hard, but 500,000 children died because of starvation and the occupation of America. Was the price worth it? And Madeleine Albright, our Secretary of State, said, this is a tough question, but I think the price is worth it. You see, this is bloodlust. This is bloodlust. These people will stop at nothing to keep their power. They're flailing right now. They're so nervous that a young man like this is going to come up out of the works and stir up the country. I mean, kind of like Donald Trump did, because Donald Trump, with all his flaws and everything, you know what he did? He was a disruptor. And you know what? When you're not a politician and you come in and you take over the presidency and you're not a politician, you're not one of the club. Well, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get 4 years of Russia, 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 and Russiagate, and they proved nothing. They proved
Mm.
nothing again. So they lied to us about wars. They false flagged us about everything. You know what a false flag is, right? They make up so much stuff and they sell it to us. And then guess what they ask us to do? Go vote again. We are
Mm.
lost as a country. Our country in America has already been gone for decades, folks. Decades. It's gone. This country is going to fall and it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard fall.
But that's not how the rest of the world is seeing
Oh,
America.
well,
The
because
rest
the
of the world,
news, because
the
the
way
news.
the way you people package America for the rest of the world is that, oh, don't miss heaven. Heaven is here.
Just as if
Don't
you were
miss
in my
heaven.
heart.
Heaven. Heaven.
Just as if you were in my
Once
heart.
I get to
And some
America,
persons will
my
like,
life is changed.
they will want to sell their whole life here, everything they have, their properties, everything, just to go to America, as if
Right.
heaven is on earth in America, not knowing that people are homeless there, people are sleeping on the street, people don't have food there.
A lot of Africans here. Some of them that even have like 1, 2, 3 buildings and cars.
Oh, you're gonna love this. Guess
They
what
go
just
school.
happened? Oh, just
What?
listen to this. You're gonna love this. So we just
Okay.
had this C-19 thing went around, the last few years, right? And they kicked out all the military men that didn't want to take the little jabby thing, right? They kicked them all out. Guess what they're doing? Begging them to come back without the shot. Can you believe it?
You don't mean it?
That because our military is falling apart. We can't even recruit people anymore. We have people that are chanting free Palestine all over America every day now. They were at the White House. They called that some type of riot. I mean, people are sick and tired of people in power killing. It's all they do. People are just I mean, this is I wish that Madam Claudia's husband was on here right now, because he would set us straight. He knows better than I do what the military industrial complex has done. I think Eisenhower warned us, right? Eisenhower, our own president, warned us. Kennedy warned us. And guess what? It's still going on. Do you think Donald Trump did anything to change that? No. Donald Trump is a part of the deep state, just like them all. It's not an election, folks. It's a selection. America's run by corporations. We are a corporate. Our country is legally defined as a corporation. People need to wake up to the fact it's bought, paid, and sold for, and your soul is on the line.
Wow. I think with this being said, my advice to every African that is listening to this live stream is that we should ensure that our continent is not for sale. That our
Keep it to
continent
yourself. Yep.
is
Don't let anybody come in there. Don't let anybody touch your land. You know what? Don't let anybody move in there. Don't let anybody come around. Don't let them. You know why? Because you're peaceful people and you're not trying to kill anybody. You just want your own space. Is that not what Israel has? Their own state? I mean, did the Balfour Agreement, which was by the Rothschild decree? Oh, guess what? After World War II, hey, guess what? Israel, you get your own state. Okay. And by the way, did you know where Israel wanted to create its Zionist movement first? Was Uganda. It wasn't Israel. It was Uganda. Look it up. Look it up. Facts. These are real facts, people. They wanted Zionism in Africa.
But anyway, we thank God that that never happened, because that would have broken a whole lot of their historical stuff.
Yeah.
That means Jerusalem will be in either port of Lagos, if if that would have come true.
And did you know that Israel was the third option? It was Argentina that was second. Okay, it was Uganda first, Argentina was second. That they wanted their headquarters. They couldn't find out where it was, and finally they decided on Palestine. Now, the president just got elected to Argentina, right? Did you know what he said on national television? That his first presidential flight to a different country is going to be to Israel. He's 100% supporting Israel, the Argentina. Now, if your guy that is there, the 34-year-old, if he all of a sudden stood up for Israel, what would happen to him?
He's not even interested in anything of such.
Exactly.
He has a country to face. He has a business. He has a business of Africa at hand. If there is any country that is interested in, that will be Russia, and he has been there.
And China, because China and Russia are connected.
They are brothers and
But
sisters.
he's really showing off that he's really
Is
interested
more of
in,
Russia than
yes,
China.
and he trusts just the first person in
He
Russia.
trusts
With
only
the,
Putin.
yes.
He
So
trusts only
he's really
Putin.
making that pronounced by his body language, by his actions, by everything.
So,
So
which is a good one. I think
so
tonight's live stream is not going to be a long one
yes.
because over here, we are
There's power.
we are conserving energy.
Yes, so
So
like
is the energy from our solar we are using presently. So we want to really spend just few hours to the live stream. So with what we have seen tonight, based on, if you need to know more about some of these people that we were talking about in Africa, you can go to our YouTube channel. You will see some of the videos. We are going to be updating them.
Yes.
So we have some couple of videos that you can run through, and I might just drop the link before we close here. With that being said, let me quickly state what we intend doing. Presently, we have, you all know that every end of the year, we usually go out to give back to the society because we run a foundation to help supply the needs of few persons and also take care of the youth. But we have come to that part of the year that we go out to feed the less privileged, either by giving them life chicken or foodstuff. But we have two things that we want to achieve this December. On the 9th of December, because of the prevailing, what's it called, rising costs of living, a lot of people have not been able to feed themselves, especially in Nigeria. Some persons, some families cannot even feed once because the price of food, the price of everything has been times two, times three. Now, on the 9th of December, in a place called Lagos, which we pronounce as Lagos, we are going out to feed the less privileged. And as such, for those that are within Lagos, if you are available within Lagos, you can join us to support us in sharing foodstuffs, cooked food to the less privileged. So you can reach us on our WhatsApp number. Let me quickly put the WhatsApp number here. Plus 234 81 79 59 1789. So you can reach us on this WhatsApp number. If you are within Lagos, you want to support us in sharing the food to feed the less privileged, you can support us. And for those that would like to, what's it called, that would like to support our feeding program that is coming up, we only use we are going to use our GoFundMe account to do this. You can support our feeding program, feeding the less privileged program, through this link. This is the link over here. That's our GoFundMe. This is our GoFundMe account. So we are going to, what's it called? We are going to cover the event so that people can see what is going on. And if you have food to support us to share to these people, you can let us know about that. Then, lastly, December, we already know that every December 25th, we share live chicken to families, to hundreds of families. Please, if you want to support that too, you can do that through the GoFundMe account. Already, today is the last day. Today is the last day in the month of November. So we are starting December tomorrow. So we just have like 8 days to the feeding program, which will be coming up on the 9th of November. Please, we welcome all support and we are glad to have you here. So with that being said, let us quickly conclude on our stream tonight, which is election or security in Africa, which comes to mind. And Jim, I want you to give us your closing remark.
Elections, security. You know, those words are interesting. Are we supposed to listen to them? Like elections,
Mhm.
security. Are we supposed to like actually think that security comes with just words and stuff like that through elections? Because that hasn't been proven right in a long time. Well, I haven't seen an election provide security. In other words, what is security? And is it found through elections? I don't think it is. I think security is found in what I call basic humanistic traits, like your character, right? Your ability to be a service to someone else, like you're doing for your fellow man and woman where you live. I have much to do. I actually take care of a couple old people around my neighborhood with soup, and I do things a little bit. I could do more. The
Mhm.
fact of the matter is, elections and security are not about what we are talking about here. We're talking about sovereignty. And if you're going to get sovereignty through an election, I doubt it. I don't think you're going to get sovereignty through a selection either. Sovereignty is something that is almost like a collective idea where the individual is considered the valuable thing of it. Like what one thinks is that person's freedom too, also. So sovereignty for a country would have to have unity. And that means people would have to all come together and be like minded. Now, if there's a consensus attitude towards a decision like that, what would be the number? What would be the number? 70, 30%? Okay, now we can pass a rule. Would it have to be 100%? You know, these are small little questions that elections don't answer. And
Mhm.
for the people that understand what a corporation does, is actually enslaves you. Corporations is a sense of saying, look, you're beneath me. I make the rules here. You just do what you're told. And that's how they treated America and the world. Here I am. Should I be complaining about America? Damn right I should be, because there's a lot going on here in America that is so corrupt, that is spread across the whole world. Everybody knows it. And you have to have grassroots movements like the Cetros Foundation, and you have to have interesting conversations about the ideas where we're getting across from continent to continent right now, having a conversation about elections and security. Well, security, if we're going to get security first, maybe you can have a good election. I think that would be possible. But man, there's so much corruption. With that said, I just want to say it's an honor and a privilege to be able to come onto your platform and be invited here. Um, you don't forget my birthday this year.
Yes,
when
it's
when is
nice.
that night? I
The
Oh,
mean,
come on now. You've taken down that.
11.
You wrote it down several times. Now, if you don't know when my birthday is, it's
So
right
we're
around the
not going to,
corner.
we
If you
will
don't
check
know
our.
when my birthday is, hey, listen, I've
If
been with you guys. I've been with you guys now almost five
we
years.
we have it on
And
our record.
hey, I've been on this show at
December.
least 100 and yeah, December 11th. I've
Yes.
been on this show at
Said
least
it now. I
150
got it
times.
now. I said it,
My
isn't
wife
it?
said it. She
I said
said 11th.
11th of
Oh yeah,
December.
yeah, yeah. But your daughters are getting so beautiful, and the children are just growing so fast, and that you're so
Wow.
blessed, and you have been showing such great energy and light out to the world, and bringing situations like this to the children. Hey, don't forget. Sometimes that not people are not watching this, but you know what? They can go back and look at this someday and say, "Hey, look, here it is." Right? They had that conversation. They understood it already back then. You know, and the youth like the youth are here in America just finding out about Saddam Hussein's letter to America. Did you hear about that? You guys hear about that? What happened
About what?
here in America? TikTok went crazy viral over uh, Saddam. Who I mean, excuse me. What's his name? Hossein Osama bin Laden
Oh,
wrote a letter to America. and it was on a company's website for almost 30 years. And all of a sudden, a couple college kids picked up and read the letter. It's Osama bin Laden to America. You could go look it up on Google. It's all over the place. It's
Whoa.
huge, trending. Oh, it's huge up here in America. And so TikTok shut it off. And the company that had the letter on its website got rid of it because people were waking up like what America was about because of that letter from what that Osama bin Laden said. They were freaking out here in America. So you have to check that out. That will explain. I mean, we've got several powerful companies in America. Once again, Deo understands this, and Joke, thank you so much for your time. You guys are awesome, and blessed to you all, everybody, family out there. I want to say hi. Look, these conversations have been so enlightening, and just wish to do some more someday.
Wow,
Okay.
it's an honor having you. We're so blessed to have you. Chukudi Mwambodo.
Rudy, love you
Okay.
guys.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thank you so very much. So from all of us at the Cetros blog, we want to say thank you so very much for joining this live stream and enjoying our satire, enjoying our videos. Really appreciate you. We want to thank all those that have been helping us to support the less privileged people. Thank you so very much. We thank you for your cooperation. We thank you for supporting us every end of the year to provide Christmas chicken, and aside Christmas chicken, to provide food, cooked food, which we are doing on the night for the less privileged. We really appreciate, and we pray that more people get to do this around their community, just as we are doing. And we appreciate all those that have been supporting us year to year. And we also wish the countries in Africa independence from all external infiltrations, all external influences that are keeping Africa below performance. With that being said, we want to say thank you so very much. The people of Burkina
Faso.
Faso, please.
If you're watching this live, so you can tell us more about
Yeah.
Captain Ibrahim Traore.
Yeah.
Want to know more about him and want to see what he's doing, and especially his move with Rwanda right now and every other thing. So I want to say thank you and thank you. I think somebody came to the live stream before we started saying it can be trusted.
Yeah.
But I do not trust. I don't want to say that with my mouth because I'm right here in Nigeria. So you can show that comment.
I think it's a color says,
Takala says,
oh, it can be trusted.
but I do not trust.
So we really appreciate you. And we also have Royston
Thank
for
you
the first
so
time
very
saying
much.
security in Africa. Thank you so very much. We pray that everybody will work towards having security across Africa.
Is it not a life that is secure, a life that is a life that can vote? And is it not when everything is same in a nation that people can really come out and say, this is what I want, and their votes will count? So that's
Because
it.
if you do not have security, that means even your vote is not secure.
It's not counting. That's what he's saying.
It's not secure.
Yes.
Because your vote can be manipulated. Your vote can be darudapo. Your vote can be violently taken away from you, and they replace it with whatever they have choiced. With whatever they have choiced.
Okay.
So, with that being said, we say thank you so very much. See you.
Catch you. Love you.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.